My name is Victor Fuhrman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me now and we will explore these topics and so much more with fascinating guests, authors, and experts who will guide us to Destination Unlimited. This question has been pondered from the time humanity developed the ability to think and reason. Are we physical entities having a spiritual experience, or spiritual entities having a physical experience? If the latter is true, which many believe and sense it to be, how may we transcend the boundaries of our three-dimensional carbon-based suits and ascend to the ultimate dimensions of energy, light, and pure love? Is there a way to stand in both realms and realize the language and immanence of light while we fulfill our incarnate missions? My guest this week on Destination Unlimited, my dear friend and soul sister Maryanne Savino, lives, shares, and teaches this path as her calling. She is a star seed who came to the earth plane to assist with the ascension process. She's an empathic channel for vibrational sound, known as the language of light, and a temple priestess for sacred dance transmissions of the Divine Mother. She says this calling has been very empowering and transformative for the enhancement of others in private sessions and classes that she offers. Her website is sacreddanceandsound.com, and she joins me this week to share her path and how her work and gifts are being called upon at this critical juncture for humankind. Please join me in welcoming to Destination Unlimited my dear friend Maryanne Savino. Welcome, Maryanne.
Hi, Victor. It's so great to be here.
And thank you so much for joining us this week and sharing your path and your message. Now, before we begin, I'm going to share with our listeners how we met and how that brief and chance meeting so dramatically impacted my life. Of course, I'm talking about the time that we met at Jody Sirota's many, many years ago. Do you recall?
Absolutely.
And I'm guessing this was like late 2000, maybe 2009 or 2010. I don't remember exactly when it was. Mm-hmm. But Jody Sirota, who had a studio here in New York where various types of wonderful metaphysical meetings took place, had an evening one night, and we were all there. And after the main presentation was over, she invited everyone to pull the chairs to the side and to sort of get into the energy of an impromptu energetic dance. And I was very clumsy, or felt very clumsy, and never much of a dancer to begin with. And I felt a little bit uncomfortable. And you came over to me, and you looked at me in the eyes, and you smiled, and said, just let it flow. And that brief encounter, your dance with me that night, changed me in so many ways that I'll always be grateful to you for that.
Oh, that's so sweet to hear. First, I want to thank you so much for having me on as a guest. It's an honor and a joy, and I'm grateful to be here. And I'm so happy that you had such a wonderful experience. And that's always my intention, is that I can offer some guidance to help people to bring joy into their lives through the power of dance and sound and, that creative energy that flows inside of us that sometimes gets stuck, but we can open it up and express it. So
that smile, that brief encounter, your smile and what you shared with me made me feel welcomed and empowered. Oh. And it was just absolutely wonderful. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
Now, Maryanne, please share with our listeners who are meeting you for the first time your path and how it unfolded for you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, my path really began early on. And at the time that I was having these experiences of spirit, I didn't really understand. I was a very small child. I had... At the age of 2, I had a tragedy in my family. My father was murdered. And I believe that, I came in as a sensitive to begin with. And his death certainly disrupted my family and our lives. And because of his tragedy that happened to him, I began seeking, what is this? Why did this happen? What could possibly be the reason for something so terrible to occur? I really believe it was about having to heal the trauma through forgiveness, through love, through compassion, through accepting this terrible trauma. And I was still here, alive and breathing, and said, well, as I would, look and seek for ways, I said, I have to keep going because I'm here. And it hasn't always been easy, but I just kept looking for answers through spirituality, through life.
And what made you aware of your higher purpose for incarnating at this time to share your wisdom and gifts with others?
Well, as I said, my father's death definitely led me on a spiritual quest for answers as to, why did this tragedy happen? So I began looking into different practices of spirituality to heal the deeper wounds inside. So the ascension path showed up for me very early on. I believe we begin our ascension journey from the moment we arrive on Mother Earth, from the moment we're birthed out of our mother's womb. Only we don't have the awareness necessarily, of it, when it's happening. It comes in very strongly when we're ready to face our shadow. Our higher soul self will then say, she's ready, here we go. So I've always been a sensitive. I could feel energy very deeply. I just didn't understand what was happening to me. And it was really, I would say, very late teens, early 20s that I began to have these experiences of feeling like I wasn't from here. And I remember at the time of the Harmonic convergence in August of 1987, it was actually between the dates of August 15th through the 17th is when this convergence happened. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know, my father's birthday is August 16th. Mm. So I knew, even though I didn't understand what was happening to me at the time, I began noticing strange symptoms, strange feelings, like otherworldly feelings, this physical, psycho-emotional stuff happening to me, only I didn't know what it was at that time. It was later on that I began to get the pieces of the puzzle and put them together.
What were the specific trainings that you sought out to develop your understanding and find your gifts?
Well, I would say that I began getting into yoga and meditation and chakra healing. I began wanting to really know about all these other practices. I was raised, of course, in the Catholic Church. I started to really feel that wasn't my path, even though there were certain aspects of it that I still feel that I hold dear to my heart even till this day, with the Christ teachings and Mother Mary, St. Francis and the archangels. Those kind of stayed with me. But I began to seek esoteric teachings, shamanism, angelic healing. Herbal medicine was probably my yoga, meditation, and herbal medicine were my first. Then I got into some of the others, the goddess spirituality, the sacred dance, and then sound vibration came in really strong. I began studying intuitive development and channeling, sacred geometry, anything I could get my hands on and senses on to explore was like I couldn't get enough of it.
How may each of us who has a sense of mission or a purpose open to what we call, or you call, our soul's remembrance?
I think that's a really good question. I think that it's going to be different for each of us. I believe that resonance, what you feel called and drawn to, is the key to finding your sacred path and your unique gifts. anything that really sparks a feeling of light and, oh, this feels really good, or wow, this feels like I just resonate. I can really feel that. I would say resonance is the key.
And when you say resonance, in other words, something that we encounter feels right to us. It resonates with us on a deeper level, not just on a physical or intellectual level, but on a much deeper level.
A much deeper level. It's a sensory of almost like a knowing without thinking. It's an inner knowing that, oh, this feels like a glove. I step into I could step right into it. It's like, yes, this fits just like a glove. It's like the piece of the puzzle fits in perfectly. And that's how you know.
So in other words, in my case, for example, when I was in my mid-30s, I was having some issues with my back. I had been on a very spiritual path as a kid, and that sort of faded in my young adulthood. And then in my mid-30s to late 30s, I was having issues with my back. And a friend of mine who was a metal sculptor suggested I take yoga. And yoga led to facilitating meditation because the yoga teacher, my dear sister and friend Judy, loved my voice. And I started facilitating meditation, and that led to healing, and that led to all of the other aspects of my life. So when you have that resonance, that certain message that comes to you, you just follow it.
Oh, absolutely. How could you not? I mean, it'll hit us over the head until we finally say, okay, I give in. This is it.
Absolutely. That's the truth. My guest this week is my dear friend, my soul sister, Maryanne Savino. We're talking about her path and the gifts that she brings to others. We'll continue this discussion after these words on the OMTimes radio network.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
They say singing can help you remember things, so here's some tips for parents out there during these tough times. Number 1. Make sure your kids wash their hands for 20 seconds after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside. 2. Virtual playdates, social and physical distancing can help save lives. 3. Tell them they're safe and show your love and pride. Yes, we'll get through this together. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Back on Destination Unlimited, my guest this week is my dear friend, my soul sister, Maryanne Savino. We're talking about her path and the gifts that she has discovered in her own life and now shares with others. You briefly touched upon the word ascension in our first segment. What is ascension?
Ascension, you hear that word and right away you assume it kind of is misleading for what we're actually experiencing. It's as if ascension, you're coming out of your body and you're ascending up to the heavens. Well, that's not exactly what ascension is. I would say ascension is a spiritual evolutionary journey of soul embodiment. We're raising the vibrational frequency on the planet through our human soul experiences, our human soul journey. I see it as a rebirthing, of the soul through the human body. And it's almost as if I would say it's more about the descending of our higher soul's light into our human bodies to anchor the part of us that perhaps we disconnected from, maybe due to trauma. Sometimes we disconnect from our divinity because of trauma, because of things that have happened. Soul memory comes in and you start to have these feelings that are uncomfortable. It could be from a past life or a childhood trauma. So it is really a soul retrieval for soul embodiment to really come back into your divinity in the body and to expand from the heart. I believe a good way to put it is that it's an infinite experience. So what is above, what is below is within and around. Everything is connected, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people hear the word ascension and they think of it in terms of Christ's ascension.
Right.
After he met with the disciples after the crucifixion and the resurrection. And then the word ascension is also used when someone attains a throne in royalty. They ascend to the throne.
Right.
Are we all ascending to our own thrones? Is that what this is about for us?
I believe so. That's a good way to put it. And it's coming home to your divinity, and it's the embodiment, the soul embodiment of our divinity. We're bringing the parts of us that we've disconnected, our God source, goddess presence, back into our human bodies because we've cut off from them. So we anchor down as best we can because we're going through such a shift in consciousness that it can be overwhelming. But that is what I believe is happening.
And what happens to our physical bodies when we're in that ascension presence, ascending to that seat of our soul, to borrow the phrase? What actually happens within our physical bodies? Is there a healing that takes place?
We are going through a massive purging and purification of anything and everything that is of a denser vibrational frequency that does not serve us. So in a sense, we could say we're ascending while still living in our physical human bodies. We're not leaving our bodies this time. We're actually taking them with us.
And in the process of doing so, what actually happens with our bodies?
Well, we go through this purging and purification process. We start to leave that denser energy of the third, the 3D energy of duality, of limitation. Now, don't get me wrong, because I want to make this clear. There's nothing wrong with third dimensional reality. Even the duality and limitation is part of being human, and it's okay. We have to accept and embrace all of us. So as we perhaps let go of the shadow aspects, maybe, feeling low self-worth, feeling limitation, feeling this separation. It's okay because it's part of being human. But then we start to open up to more of our soul's knowing, what I call the galactic 5D human. We come more into the crystalline human soul that we are in the physical body. So we go from the density into the divinity. But it's not as if we're letting go of the ego shadow where we're killing it off. It's just that we don't want it running the show anymore because it has been, and it can get us into trouble. It doesn't feel comfortable with having to give up what's familiar. So it panics and goes into a state of, oh my God, I'm going to die. I better stay small, and I better not rock the boat, and I better just stay right where I am, and no, don't give me anything new, and I don't want to know about it. But our souls are not going to let us get away with that because it's what we came here for. We chose to be here at this time. We chose to be here for this divine experience, for growth, for transformation, to assist Mother Earth, to help each other.
A lot of people are anchored in fear right now because of the current world situation with the COVID-19 crisis. Can this process help us to get beyond that fear?
Yes, because it's showing up. The fear is showing up for us to finally take a look at it. And instead of, as I said, we are human beings. It's in our DNA. It's programmed into us to have fear. Now, the way I see it, and even though I notice a lot of people, and I used to do this myself, fear is negative, just, move on, and just no fear here, only faith and only love. Well, that's not realistic, because we are programmed for fear. The key, I feel, when the fear shows up, invite it in. See it as a little orphan child who's frightened. See your inner child. I'm scared. Please don't leave me alone. I'm afraid. Pick up that child. Put that child into your heart. Nurture that child and ask the fear, what are you doing here? What can I do to help you? Rather than, get away, avoid. We'll do anything to avoid what plagues us. And that doesn't work, because you're just burying the wound deeper. So when the fear shows up, I welcome you to invite it in. Create a space inside. Have it come in, but then, let it stay. Let it teach you what it needs to. And then you can say to it in a loving way, thank you for this time. I really appreciate what you've shown up to teach me. But I'm going to see you out the door now. And if you have to show up again at some point, I'll be here. But thank you for sharing and for caring, and off you go, because it will show up.
You touched upon the inner child. So many of us have come into this lifetime with childhood trauma. You mentioned your personal childhood trauma. I've experienced childhood trauma. Many of the people that we come to meet on a daily basis have had some type of childhood trauma which had carried in them both spiritually, intellectually, and physically for their entire lives. What can we do to deal with that and heal that childhood trauma?
Well, it's like what I just said about the shadow aspect. When the child is frightened, and you can perhaps guide yourself inside, close your eyes, and, see if you can get an image. And if you can't get an image, see if there's a sensation, a feeling. And if that has, if that's not working, you could just say, I'm calling in my inner child so that I can help this beautiful little soul in me to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel accepted and acknowledged. And to say to that child, I'm so sorry that I haven't been paying attention to you. Please forgive me, but I'm right here. I'm right here with you now, and I'm never leaving you. And I want you to know that there's nothing that you could ever say or do or be that would ever make me stop loving you or make me go away from you. I'm right here with you, and I'm here to love, honor, and support you in any way that I can. And it's not something you just do once or twice. You have to keep doing this. It's a process. The ascension journey, the reason why you hear a lot of people call it the ascension process, it is a process. It's not like, boom, 1, 2, 3, you're going to clear all your karma and all your trauma out of your body and say, okay, now I can have joy for the rest of my life. No, we will navigate in and out of the pain, of the struggle, of the shame, of the blame, and the joy and the love and the peace and the harmony and the creativity. It's all there together. You have to embrace all of it. Can't just have one without the other. You can't know one without the other.
Do a lot of us have a sense or carry a childhood trauma, a sense of abandonment, which has led us to question our worthiness?
Absolutely. Abandonment and abuse are two of the worst things that a child could go through. And it's going to come up. It's going to come up. Your shadow is a gift. I know people say, the dark forces are negative and, the shadow is dark. Well, the shadow is dark because it helps you find your light. You wouldn't know your light without it.
And these are the gifts that we have to work with to heal all of the issues and all of the traumas. And in the process of doing so, we are enabling the ascension to take place within us.
Absolutely. Beautifully said.
What other lessons may we learn from the ascension experience?
Well, I believe for me, it's really been about accepting oneself, all of me, not just the good stuff, but really honoring my path and everything that I've chosen to explore and experience for my growth, to actually have some faith that my soul knows what it's doing. Our souls are the navigators of our lives. We just don't allow it. We let that noisy ego mind get in the way. But if we can go to the divinity within and say, I don't know what to do, please show me, please help me. I'm right here. I want to know. I want to learn. I want to, I want your help. I'm sorry I haven't paid attention, but I'm right here now and I want to know.
And in the process of doing so, we learn that we're never alone, that we're always loved, and that worthiness is always there.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
My wonderful guest, Maryanne Savino. Maryanne, please tell our listeners where they can find out more about you and your amazing work.
Well, I am on Facebook, and I do a lot of Facebook Live. I also have a website, sacreddanceandsound.com. sacreddanceandsound.com. I have some webinars that I'm putting together right now that I will be offering. They're webinar series and some classes. And I offer private sessions in ascension support and guidance and intuitive counseling and lots of work with the sacred feminine.
And we'll be back with more of Maryanne Savino after these words on the OMTimes Radio Network.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Humanity Healing International is a small nonprofit with a big dream. Since 2007, HHI has been working tirelessly to bring help to communities with little or no hope. Our projects are not broad mandates, nor are they overnight solutions, but they bring the reassurance that no one is alone and that someone cares. To learn more, please visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
During these times of worry, fear, and uncertainty, a calming and soothing voice may help you relax, clear your mind, and help you sleep. This is Victor the Voice Fuhrman, and for the first time, I'm offering my voice for your well-being. I will craft a personal guided meditation to suit your needs. My fees are very reasonable, and I can provide your personalized guided meditation quickly. For more information, please send an email to voice@victorthevoice.com. That's voice@victorthevoice.com. Blessings, my friend.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so stay a minimum of 6 feet away from others and stay home if you can. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Back on Destination Unlimited, my guest this week is my dear friend, my soul sister, Maryanne Savino. We're talking about all the amazing work that she does. Maryanne, you channel the language of light. What is this language and where does it come from?
Okay. Well, the language of light is what I call a living language of the soul. It's not something that you learn like the way you would learn Spanish or French or Italian. It's already encoded within our DNA, and it's more about remembering it. So we're not only channeling it, at least I'm not. I feel that, yes, we call in higher intelligences that come in, but then it starts kind of piercing on our own crystalline soul codes. And it is really a language of the soul that bypasses the thinking mind. It's more about being expressed through the heart, contained within it are, as I said, these codes of your own crystalline codes and codes of creation that aligns us with our own divine nature. They're dormant within us, and they can be activated when we tap into higher channeled intelligence, but also just going within, to our own divinity within us.
So in essence, the language of light is not something that we would really understand intellectually. It speaks to us on a heart, soul, and genetic level.
Absolutely. And, it originates, it depends on how people like to see it. I always felt that these are languages of the soul that come from various star systems, like the Pleiades, Arcturus, Sirius, Lyra, Andromeda, Orion. Could also be angelic, galactic, cosmic, earth, fairy, elemental, all of that. So trying to understand it with the mind doesn't quite give you the truth of it, the deeper resonance of it. Again, back to that resonance. It's a feeling, a knowing of what your heart and soul are holding within you.
How did this come to you?
It's funny. Yesterday I was on a panel for Light Language with the New Life Expo virtually, and we were talking about all of it. And it's funny because the two people that I thought originally activated me are Judy Satori and Jody Sirota. But what I found out later on, and it didn't hit me at the time, I thought it was the two of them that kind of activated me when I was at Meta Center, which was Jody's center. My Siamese alien cat that I used to have, that's what I used to call him, my Siamese alien, because he used to speak these strange sound languages that I realized, later on, oh my God, he was speaking the languages, and he activated me. But I never really started speaking them. I would have a couple little words that would come out when I would try to communicate with him. But then at Meta Center, I was sitting down receiving an activation from Judy and Jody, and I went into almost like a trance state, and I got really shaky and nervous, and I got up and went out of the room to get some water and to breathe because I started having almost like a Kundalini experience. It was very similar. I thought, oh my God, what the hell is happening to me? This is really freaking me out. But it was powerful. And it's not something that you learn, but it is definitely something that you remember and you will get activated. If you're around somebody speaking it, many people have said all of a sudden they'll start speaking it and they have no idea where it's coming from or what it means. Like they feel it, but if you're trying to decipher it and then translate it, I don't translate it because I don't feel it needs to be done that way for me personally. I know people that do, and that's fine. It's your own unique experience of it, and you need to, let that be your own unique experience of it.
Can anyone be activated?
Absolutely.
And this is something that you offer, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be offering a webinar series on opening up to your soul codes, to the language of light, and there will be a number of practices, tools that you can use to access it and activate it. You
had mentioned when you were activated that you had a sense that the Kundalini energy was rising. For our listeners who are not familiar with that, just explain what that means, please.
Well, that's to me, it was a very deep, energetic essence that lives inside of us that's also dormant, that connects to the universe. And it starts to coil up like a snake through the spine and comes out of the crown. And then for me, this has happened to many people. I've talked to people about this, where it comes up and out. The energy shoots up from the base up to the crown and around like a fountain. And it activates. It can feel very sexual, but it's not always. It's very sensual. It's very heightened. It'll make your sensitivity even stronger, but it can also help you access your unique gifts, your abilities, and what you're here to share.
And in essence, it's an opening of all of the chakras.
Yes.
And the energy travels up and out.
Yes, it does.
It's a beautiful experience for those who can experience that. Does the language of light also manifest in other creative ways besides the verbal language? Are there other expressions of it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would say that besides speaking it, you can write it. You can, painting and writing, singing, signing it with your hands, dancing and moving with it. It can come out in many ways. It's not just limited to speaking it.
And for you personally, how else does it manifest?
I love singing it. I definitely love writing it, and signing in the moving, signing, dancing it is really wonderful. I love it.
And I've seen some of your beautiful representations, artistic representations are magnificent.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a nice way to express your soul. It's the soul's expression.
Absolutely. Would you be able to channel the language of light for our listeners now so that they can have a sense of what it feels like to them?
Absolutely. I can offer an activation right now.
Please.
We can start with a few nice breaths in and out, nice and, natural breathing. Take an inhalation, hold it for a few seconds, and then let it out. Just make yourselves comfortable, and all you have to do is be open to receive these beautiful codes of light. We have a bunch of our little star tribes coming in. I could feel them. Pleiadians, Lyrans, Arcturians, even little fairies coming in. Divine Mother from Lemuria, Holy Father Spirit. Koro satui shamola kwa tasania kati. Hira makwa sanue irabokuro makaitanaya. Hira kasasur ushamata la kwa tuotsin antia laita. Godai karakosonashata ikar ut am ova. Piera koson unsea shala kwatia la titi. Korososin anakakwa makia matuatia na soia. Ishtal atkut and al. Makwa. Kwarasasun usham ukwati. Hera la kwa senaisam un atid. Hera kasu shesetai. Morokosonuia ala il. Hakwayata. Hanua salaia, marua faim am ul akata, akata, akata. And breathe. And relax.
How does that make you feel when that happens?
That particular one was very soothing and comforting, very calming.
I, in my receiving of it from you, got a number of messages. The first was a welcome message, obviously. Welcome, and you are welcomed, and we are here for you right now to tell you that you're loved. And that, to me, is like one of the most important messages any of us can get right now in this world.
Oh, yeah. It is. Light language is a language of love. It really, truly is.
And the next message I got was that everything, and this is something that I personally grounded in, and perhaps that's why it's being reaffirmed, that no matter what's happening in life right now, everything is unfolding according to a divine plan, as you perceive the divine. And each of us has our own interpretation of the divine, God, goddess, whatever it might be. But that everything is unfolding in divine order right now, just the way it's supposed to. And we may not see it, we may not understand it. At times it actually may be very difficult, but ultimately the higher purpose is at work.
I completely agree with you. I feel that so deeply. It doesn't always feel comfortable, and we may not always like it. But the universe knows what it's doing. Our souls are here to navigate for us, and we have to have some faith and trust the process and our journey of this ascension, of this path that we're all on. We chose to be here, to be the warriors of love, to come down here. And it's no joke down here, as you know, as we all know. We could see it and feel it and experience it. But we did make an agreement to show up here. And we're doing that, and the universe is applauding us. So remember, when it gets really tough out there and you feel like you just can't take another minute, just remember that you're the warrior of love who showed up here, and you are making a great difference. Even if you do nothing but just be, the universe applauds you.
And I believe that message applies to everyone who is listening to this program right now. You were drawn to this program to receive this message and to receive this, in essence, initiation that Maryanne so lovingly brought to us. Thank you, Maryanne.
You're welcome.
And we'll be back with more of Maryanne Savino after these words on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. ascendinghearts.com.
During these times of worry, fear, and uncertainty, a calming and soothing voice may help you relax, clear your mind, and help you sleep. This is Victor the Voice Fuhrman, and for the first time, I'm offering my voice for your well-being. I will craft a personal guided meditation to suit your needs. My fees are very reasonable, and I can provide your personalized guided meditation quickly. For more information, please send an email to voice@victorthevoice.com. That's voice@victorthevoice.com. Blessings, my friend.
The student asks the teacher, "How do I experience transformation?" The teacher replies, "When the student is ready to receive deeper answers, the student then asks, 'How do I know what deeper questions to ask?' And the teacher replies, "When the student decides to commit to a practice inviting transformation, level 2 questions will be revealed." Hi, I'm Tomas Garza, and as a teacher and host, I'm inviting listeners to enroll in the mastery of transformation by joining me on Decide to Transform, your bridge to level 2 answers. Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
A social distancing tip.
Keeping your distance from others is important in slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are some fun things to do alone. Read a book, take a walk, unpack your suitcase from that trip you took last September, paint a self-portrait, catch up on a TV series, do a puzzle. Remember, we should all stay home to lower the risk for everyone. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Back on Destination Unlimited, my guest this week, Maryanne Savino, my dear friend, my soul sister, someone who I so resonate with her beauty and her energy and all the gifts that she shares with the world at this time. For those of you who were just with us in that segment about channeling the language of light, I'm sure that you're buzzing right now and resonating and feeling an intense sense of love and purpose the way that I am right now. And I am grateful to Maryanne for bringing that to us at this time. Thank you, Maryanne.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure.
Maryanne, so you have a lot of different gifts. How do you use your gifts for the healing of others?
Well, I like to create and hold a sacred space so that people can tap into their own innate wisdom, their own, innate healing intelligence. And then I integrate different modalities to assist them. I'm not the one that does the healing. I'm the vessel for spirit. And I have the tools to create the space and help them. That's really what I feel is healing, the way I work with it anyway.
Now, you mentioned creating sacred space. Can you sort of give an explanation to our listeners about that? And also the fact that virtually everyone has the capacity in their own homes and their own locations to create sacred space.
Yeah, it's really not only about the physical space that you're in, but it's the space within you, the space within your energy field. With conscious intention, you could say something as simple, I am creating a sacred and safe space for me to receive healing. I open my heart and my soul to the divine to receive this beautiful healing now.
Absolutely. And the concept, I think the word that you use that best exemplifies this entire process is the I word, intention. Because we know that everything is energy, and intention is what sets it into motion, sets it into force, sets it into play for the benefit of all of those who work with the energy.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
Beautiful.
sacred space could be any place in your home. Maryanne mentioned that it's the internal sacred space. But in terms of physical sacred space, any place in your home that you set aside for whatever your faith-based work might be, your holy intentions, your pure intentions. And that space is you step out of the day-to-day world, you step out of the mundane into that sacred space. And it could be with candles, it could be with a personal altar, it could be with a beautiful music, it could be with incense or other oils. And when you have that space, that is your place for your energy work, your healing, and whatever else that you're looking and aspiring to do. Right, Maryanne?
Beautifully said. And remember that the body is our sacred temple. And we can take that sacred temple into our physical spaces, even if some people may want to be out in nature. There's no limit really to it. You can create a magical sacred space from within the temple and then the dwelling or outside in nature. There's a lot of ways to go with it.
Absolutely. And right now, I don't know about other parts of the country, but here in New York, because of the reduction in traffic and people moving around, there has been a resurgence of wild birds flying around in our neighborhoods. And this is I live in a populated neighborhood. I'm hearing bird songs every morning that I haven't heard ever. And it's just so beautiful.
It
Nature
really
is restoring itself right there.
Mother Earth is finally getting her beautiful restoration back to her wholeness and healing beautifully. And we have to be aware of that. People say, when is it going to get back to normal? We're not. We can't, because we have to realize that life is going to be different from here on in. We have to be consciously aware that our beautiful Mother Earth needs our love and support, as she supports and loves us unconditionally, no matter what we've done to her. So now it's her time to receive. And hopefully we're all paying attention to that.
And I think this is giving us an opportunity to express our gratitude to Mother Earth, to nature, to all of creation, and say, you know what? In our busy day-to-day lives, before we had a chance to slow down and pay attention, we may have forgotten to give thanks and gratitude, and now we can.
Absolutely. So beautiful.
Now, let's talk about some of your other practices. You practice the feminine temple arts. What are those?
Feminine temple arts are not just for women, by the way, even though it says feminine temple arts. In ancient times, in pretty much all the cultures, there were temple priestesses and priests that people would seek out for healing. Some were skilled in, various modalities. You had herbal medicine, aromatherapy, hands-on healing like massage and Reiki, sexual healing and tantric arts, sacred dance, sacred sound, tarot and astrology. I mean, there were many, many different modalities. And they were all skilled and trained to work with the elements and to honor our Mother Earth and creation, and from that place to offer, these modalities to help people heal and restore.
I opened the show by discussing my personal experience with your life-affirming gift of sacred dance. Please share with our listeners about sacred movement.
Well, sacred movement is really getting in touch with the elements, utilizing the breath, feeling into the nature of the rhythms in your body that connects to the pulse rhythms of Mother Earth. We have fire, we have air, we have water, we have earth. When you integrate and balance, harmonize, and restore through the movements, you can really come back to a place of harmony and balance. We can be in a place of dis-ease and dysfunction, and through the rhythms of the elements through movement, you can be restored. It can be used as a meditation. It can be used to heal some deep wounding. It can bring up joy for us if we allow it. Let the child come out and play. Let the sensual, pleasurable movements bring you back into your body, into your feeling sensation.
What is Mayan womb massage?
Mayan womb massage is an ancient shamanic healing path of the Great Mother Goddess, where they use herbal medicine, essential oils, the physical touch of massage, prayers, connecting again with the elements. Not only do the Mayans offer womb massage, but even in ancient Egypt and Africa, other cultures, all cultures have their own way, their own path. The problem is when the patriarchy came in, it took us away from all of these natural ways of life. And when I say the patriarchy, I'm not blaming men, because there are women of the patriarchy too. And, our brothers need love and support just as much as the damaged feminine, because the masculine has also been oppressed and had to suppress their wounds and not feel. And we all need love and healing. So all the cultures have their beautiful spiritual practices of embodiment. And the Mayan womb massage was something I studied. And I teach a self-care, massaging your own belly, not just for women. It could be for men too. So it's really a wonderful practice.
You also perform vibrational alchemy. What is that, please?
Well, vibrational alchemy has a variety of practices that come in, and it could be anywhere from sacred sound, flower, gem, and sacred site remedies and essences, energy healing. It really, it has a variety of pathways that you can integrate, and it's really about using the vibrational alchemy to transform. This is a great way for us to work with ascension, is to transforming of that third dimensional being, of the duality and limitation. We're not getting rid of it. We're just bringing it into harmony, into the new 5D galactic crystalline human that we're turning into, which is more heart and soul based. We are still human. We do have our limits, and that's okay. You have to accept it and embrace it. But remember that, as we come more into that galactic human of the heart, of the soul, we're navigating more from our hearts and our soul's essence. So using things like sacred sound and energy healing and remedies and the frequencies of vibration, this is how we can come back to harmony and balance.
And as alchemy, traditional alchemy was the transmutation of lead into gold, The alchemy you're talking about, the vibrational, the energy alchemy, is the transmutation from fear to love.
Fear to love, from that 3D into the 5D, so that it harmonizes and balances. And we come more into our crystalline souls, but still in a physical body, to honor all of it.
What message would you like to share with everyone at this time?
Remember who you are and why you're here on Mother Earth, why you came to the earth plane. It's because you make a great difference just by being here and sharing your soul's light, and that no one is you, and no one can do what you came here to do. This is your greatest power, your greatest gift, and together we make up the greater whole as one love and unity.
A beautiful message from my beautiful soul sister, Maryanne Savino. Maryanne, one more time, please tell our listeners how they can find out more about you and this amazing work.
My website is www.sacreddanceandsound.com. I'm also on Facebook. And I'm grateful to be here to support you and guide you in any way that I can, and to encourage you and inspire you.
Maryanne, every time you and I communicate with one another, my heart just opens and overflows. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so blessed and so grateful to you. I appreciate you so much, Victor. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on Destination Unlimited. I'm Victor the Voice Fuhrman. Have a wonderful week.